I have been loving this unit so much so far. I bet you that today we have a pretty cool lesson too. It is called Never Leave Until Tomorrow What You Can Do Today. Before we can get started though, we got to review, okay? So, what did the founding fathers do for our country? They helped write the new rules for our country to live by, and it was called the Constitution. Who became the first president of the United States? George Washington. What was the name of the capital of our new country? Washington, D.C., where I was born. Why was Washington, D.C. given its name? That's right, to honor George Washington. Listen to the name of George Washington and the name of our capital, Washington, D.C. They both have the name Washington in them, right? All right, so Benjamin Franklin was both a writer and an inventor. I want you to listen carefully to find out two things. At least one thing that Benjamin Franklin wrote, and at least one thing that he invented. I wonder, do you think that Benjamin Franklin did some pretty cool things just like George Washington? George Washington is going to be hard to beat. He did a lot of cool things for our country. Let's find out. Like George Washington, Benjamin Franklin was one of the founding fathers of our country. He was never a president, but he was a very wise man with wonderful ideas. Benjamin Franklin was wise because he used his intelligence to make good choices and do clever things. You will remember that Franklin was a part of the Continental Congress, a signer of the Declaration of Independence, and a representative of our country in both Great Britain and France. He was all over the place. Uh-oh, George. I think Benjamin's looking pretty cool here. Long before his days in government, Benjamin Franklin was a successful businessman in Philadelphia. He had always been a good reader and writer, and as a boy, he had been an apprentice in his brother's printing shop in Boston. An apprentice is someone who is learning how to do a job from someone who is an expert at that job. So, when he moved to Philadelphia, Franklin set up his own printing shop and started his own newspaper, eventually becoming the busiest printer in the American colonies. All right, Benjamin, you're getting cooler and cooler. Here we go. For more than 25 years, Benjamin Franklin published a series of books called Poor Richard's Almanac. Benjamin Franklin spelled his almanac the old-fashioned way with the CK. Today, most people spell almanac with just a C. His almanac was often the only book that people bought. It contained lots of practical information that they wanted to know. For example, the almanac had a calendar with the times of sunrise and sunset. Today, we listen to the weather forecast on the radio or television, but back then, people looked in their almanacs to find out what the weather would be like. The almanac had stories and poems, as well as puzzles, jokes, and lots of advice. Franklin included many wise sayings, many of which we still use today. Have you ever heard anyone say, "Never leave until tomorrow what you can do today"? What do you think that means? What do you think it means, guys? Franklin must have lived by his own words because he got so much done. He was never still for a minute. His brain was working constantly, spilling over with questions and ideas. I know some of you are like that. Some of you have so many questions and so many great ideas. Who knows, maybe you'll be the next Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin had a keen interest in science and the way things work. As a young boy in Boston, Benjamin spent most of his time swimming in the harbor. What else have you learned about what other things have you learned about that happened in the Boston Harbor? Maybe the Boston Tea Party. He was pretty good, but he wanted to be even faster. One day, he thought of a way that he could be a faster swimmer. He found some wood and carved some wooden paddles to fit over his hands and feet, kind of like the flippers that divers use today. When he swam with those, he was much faster, probably faster than all the other children his age. Wow, that's very cool. As Benjamin Franklin grew older, he continued to invent things. Anytime he saw a problem, he tried to invent a way to fix it. He had 2 pairs of glasses, one for reading and one to help him see things far away. He didn't like having to switch the glasses all day long, so he asked a glass cutter to slice all of his lenses in half. He made 1 pair of glasses with the distance lenses on top and close-up lenses on the bottom. Franklin had just invented bifocal glasses, still worn by many people today. Guys, guess what? I have bifocal glasses. Isn't that crazy? The glasses that I am wearing right now while I am reading this to you are bifocal glasses, which was invented by Benjamin Franklin. Man, these people were so cool. I think I want to go back in time and hang out with them. What do you think? Are you going to come with me? I hope so. All right, let's keep reading. I got excited. Sorry, guys. While sitting by the fire one night, Benjamin Franklin watched warm air disappearing up the chimney and wondered how he could trap more warm air inside the house. He made a wood-burning stove out of iron. All right, so his stove looked kind of like this, okay? This isn't actually his because they didn't have cameras back then, but this is about what it looks like, okay? It put out twice as much heat as a regular fireplace and burned less wood. This stove was named the Franklin stove after its inventor. What a smart man. Lightning was another thing that fascinated Benjamin Franklin. He had watched houses and barns burn to the ground when struck by lightning. Could it be, he wondered, that lightning was electricity? He was going to find out. A legend about Benjamin Franklin's experiment with a kite during a lightning storm goes like this. Before I read that legend, do you guys remember what a legend is? Yeah, it's a story that can't be proved true or untrue, okay? One day, Franklin took his son William out into the middle of a thunderstorm with lightning raging all around them. He tied a little metal key near the end of the string of a kite. So, let me get my pointer. Do you see the key and the string? And you can't really see the kite. You can't see the kite in this picture, but it's somewhere up there. You can see the string. Okay. So this was a really dangerous thing for Benjamin Franklin to do, okay? And he was extremely lucky not to have gotten hurt during this experiment. So please don't do this, okay? This is just me telling you what happened. This is not me telling you to go outside and do this. Do not do this. Got it? Okay. Franklin was pretty sure that if lightning was electricity, flying the kite in the thunderstorm would cause the key to become charged with electricity. He kept touching the key as the kite flew above their heads. As fibers on the key string stood on end, Franklin felt a little shock. He was right. Lightning was electricity. Franklin used this discovery to invent the lightning rod, a pole that helps carry electricity away from buildings and into the ground. This invention or creation is used today to prevent fires caused by lightning strikes. Excuse me, I got a hiccup. Pretty cool, right? How smart did he have to be to do all this? He had so many questions, and he went out and he tried to figure out the answers. And because he did all that, we have these things that we still use today. Things that many people use today. Man. All right. Benjamin Franklin's list of invention goes on and on. The next time you rock back and forth in a rocking chair, thank Benjamin Franklin for helping you to relax. This clever man invented a rocking chair with a fan to help people cool while they rocked. I have a rocking chair in my classroom, and I use it every day. So, thank you, Mr. Benjamin Franklin. In 1790, just 3 years after the Constitution was written for our country, Benjamin Franklin died peacefully in his sleep at the age of 84. 20,000 people attended his funeral. At the time, that was the biggest funeral ever held in Philadelphia. Bells rang and flags flew at half-mast as signs of respect for one of the greatest American heroes. All right, so when I say a flag is flying at half-mast, it means that it's not up here, okay? You see how it's lower? That's what it means if a flag is at half-mast. It means that they are honoring somebody, okay? Or showing respect for. All right, guys, it is question time. So, I'm going to give you a couple of things, and you are going to tell me if he did these things. Okay? Yes or no question. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Did Benjamin Franklin sign the Declaration of Independence? Yup. Did he invent swimming fins? Yup. Did he publish Poor Richard's Almanac? Yeah, he did. Remember, those were the books that had the type of weather, when the sun was going to set, all those cool things. Puzzles, jokes, sayings, like never leave until tomorrow what you can do today, which just means if you can do something today, don't push it to tomorrow, okay? Get it done. All right, was Benjamin Franklin President of the United States? No, he was not. He did a whole bunch of other really cool and amazing things that we still use and learn from today, but he was not president, okay? What did Benjamin Franklin do at his brother's print shop? He practiced as an apprentice, okay? So he learned how to be a printer from his brother, who was an expert. Name one thing that Benjamin Franklin wrote. Poor Richard's Almanac. Yeah. If you were an apprentice learning how to do something, with whom would you want to apprentice? That's one that there's not really any right or wrong answer, because it's asking you what you want. So it can be different than everybody else's. I don't know my answer for that one. I'd have to think about it and get back to you. What are some of the things that Benjamin Franklin invented? Wooden swimming flippers, bifocal glasses, the Franklin stove, the lightning rod, and rocking chair with a fan. What a smart man. All right. What's something you'd like to invent? You guys could all be inventors. Everyone could be an inventor. Think about something that you would like like to exist. Start thinking about it. I want you to think about what you could invent, okay? Doesn't have to be today or tomorrow that you get it done. But you guys, I'm challenging you to be inventors. Are you guys ready for the challenge? Of course you are. All right, word work time. In the read aloud you heard, Benjamin Franklin's almanac was often the only book people bought. I want you to say the word almanac with me. You can say it like a monster, like a mouse, in a whisper voice. Almanac. 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 An almanac is a yearly publication that includes a calendar and other helpful information. So it's kind of like a book that has all of those things in it. My mother always checks the almanac to see if winter will last long this year. What's the word we've been talking about? Almanac. You're right, okay? And an almanac is a yearly publication that includes a calendar and other helpful information. So, what would you use an almanac for if you lived during Benjamin Franklin's time? I'd probably use it for the weather. Maybe some puzzles to help my brain get smarter. Maybe some jokes if I wanted to laugh. Probably use it a lot. What do you think? All right, guys. Remember, almanac is a yearly publication or book that includes a calendar and other helpful information. I hope you learned a lot. I think Benjamin Franklin was a pretty cool dude. I wish I had cool friends like George Washington and Benjamin Franklin. Have a good day. Bye.